Okay, so if you hear any traffic, it's because it's directly behind me. There may or may not be a siren that will go by at any random time. It happens. So we'll try to give you the nature side. And like I said, I tried to clean it up the best I could. I got 2 bags worth. Anyhow, this is the January the 24th. This is the last day I took notes. I actually think this is the last day I was there. So, let's see here. Get it at the start. Alright, so this particular preacher, I'll try to speak close to the phone. Preacher's name was Daniel. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not. I don't know what the preacher's name was. I didn't write it down. But he was referring to, I guess, a character named Daniel. There we go. Saying that Daniel was fearless because he was afraid of God, which obviously is a contradiction. Let's see here. Claims Daniel means God is my judge. Claims Daniel saw prophecies of the future. So, there's so many other things where Bible prophecies are debunked, so I'm not going to go into that. Makes end of the world prophecy. Well, of course, it's the Bible, so it has to have the end of the world prophecy. That's one of those the Bible's, what do you call, a circular argument. It's true because the Bible says it's true kind of bullshit. So, okay, so far it sounds like a repeat. This is my personal part here. That, here we go. So far it sounds like a repeat. Believe without evidence or you're a fool, quote unquote. Claims that we need salvation because of, quote, sin. And then claims God judges us. I mean, that's kind of got its own paradigm where it's like, if you're supposedly completely perfect or whatever, I mean, obviously I don't think he would be, but that's kind of rough to be judging your creations based on how perfect you are. Like, you create them lesser than perfect just to judge them. It's kind of stupid. And here's my notes on that. If God already knows the future, how can we have free will? So, God sets up a quote, hell, just so he could hold it over us. That's not love, that's a threat. Do as I say or burn isn't love. Okay, he said that people who say they aren't convinced of a book that is only claims and has no proof must be wicked. So, yeah, I guess you're wicked if you don't buy their bullshit, according to this pastor and I guess a lot of other Christians. Not all, but this guy, that's what point he was making. Let's see here. There we go. I don't know if there's anything worth looking at, but just my coat over there. Let's see here. So, this is a combination of both blackmail and fear-mongering. Claims Jesus is, quote, the way, human sacrifice / blood magic, is what I wrote in my notes. Says the wise takes claims without evidence while the foolish want evidence. Again, I think this guy's a big science denier. Let's see here. Claims instead of going to a doctor to pray, or claims instead of going to a doctor to pray. So, like, great, another anti-vax preacher, which he was. I don't know if I wrote else in my notes, but he did say some anti-vax BS. Claims the Bible, quote, heals and doctors fail. And he went on some spiel with cancer and stuff like that, but Bible doesn't heal shit. So, and I have on a side note here that if somebody gets hurt, who is called? An ambulance? Like, or a priest? Like, I've never seen somebody call, I don't know what alternative number besides 911, but like, I can't think of anything funny, but like whatever a Jesus number would be, I guess since 666 is Satan, I'll pretend it's 333. And a whole bunch of fucking priests jump out of a van and start praying over somebody, and they jump up. I've never seen that shit. So, I don't know what he was referring to. Claims people will be, quote, resurrected. Claims wicked don't acknowledge God and worship creature over creator. So this is part of that science deal where it's like, anybody who acknowledges science as a foundation, they consider as wicked. You're supposed to supposedly start with God first, but there's no evidence of God. There's only the evidence that we see around us, minus the trash I didn't pick up. But yeah, it's kind of why I wanted to do this out here, is that nature is really the only foundation that we actually have evidence of and what we can prove. So obviously I disagree. Let's see here. Okay. I gather this is another planet isn't important, your soul is. It's because we don't take care of the earth, we get sick. So like, yeah, that was my opinion I wrote down on there. I mean, as you know, see with all that pollution I picked up just here, like, you know, if the earth gets sick, and I mean that in a relatively, yes, the earth is not a living creature, but if you think of the earth as a single-celled organism, you know, we're really destroying it quite literally every day. And, you know, as organisms that live on that, you know, we're kind of parasites off of this planet. If the planet was a living creature, if the planet dies, so do the parasites. So, you know, you can either have a working relationship with the organism, I forgot offhand what the term was, or you can be a parasite. But if you're like how we seem to be right now, like trash everywhere, then yeah, we will doom ourselves in the process. Let's see here. Resurrection of the, quote, just. Okay, yeah, he did further point out that only the, quote, just will be resurrected. So I said, why does something have to be internal to be special? Is there not a last bite to every meal? A last day to vacations? A last breath to a beloved friend? It's because life is limited and finite that makes life special. So that was, I think I got that one from Seth Andrews, but I agree at this point. So the pastor continued to make more claims of how human sacrifice is, quote, the only way God will forgive. Human sacrifice. I was being snarky. I was talking about Jesus. But essentially, yeah, you have to believe in the big human sacrifice of that one particular person. You must... Oh, okay, here we go. I was being snarky. So this is what the preacher said. I'll read it in full here in a second. But bear in mind, I was being a smartass, so I'm putting it on my own words. More claims of human sacrifice is the only way that God will forgive. You must believe in the blood magic of a super baby born of a virgin through ghost sex with no evidence, or you're doomed to a hell there is no proof of. That is a quote from Seth Andrews there. But I love that. I'll say it one more time for all the Norks. I want you to think about it. According to Christians, in order to be saved, you must believe in, quote, blood magic of a super baby born of a virgin through ghost sex, because it was God's spirit, with no evidence, or you are doomed to a hell that there's no proof of. Let that sink in. That's crazy shit. Then he went on to repeat, wise are the gullible and wicked are those who want proof, which to me, anybody who, denies proof has something to hide. If you don't want people looking for evidence, that usually means you're guilty of something. Because anybody that has nothing to hide, they're like, search me. I don't give a fuck. I didn't do nothing. So, just spells guilt. Continues to insult people's intelligence. Like I said, the elderly Jewish guy, me and him had more in common than I would imagine, because we, the guy, like, even the Jewish guy's like, that's just stupid. You know, you have to. There's nothing wrong with wanting proof, and calling people stupid for asking for evidence. You know, it's just insulting. Let's see here. Claims not being convinced is rebellion. Well, of course it is. I mean, if you don't buy into their bullshit, then you're rebellious. So, as my final note that I have on here, this is exactly why I titled my notes Satanic Bible Study, because I'm proud to be an adversary of God. So, that will be the end of this one. I'm not dripping with sweat like last time, but it is kind of loud, and it's going to get louder before it gets quieter. So that will be the end of my notes for this. So I will come up with, I've got some plans for some future videos, and I'll let you know, give you guys a heads up when I get to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed me tearing apart the craziness of fundamental preachers. So take it easy, and I will get back to you eventually. Hopefully I'll get some good shit for October.